Well, May 19th, 2025, a date that might just echo in the corridors of power and in the lives of ordinary people across Britain and Europe for years to come. 5 years since the UK carved its new path outside the European Union, and the aftershocks of Brexit continue to shape our world. But on this day, it really felt like a new chapter was being written. In Brussels, there were the handshakes, the carefully worded statements. Prime Minister Keir Starmer and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen stood side by side, unveiling a suite of landmark agreements. And the aim? To mend frayed ties, to find new ways of working together. We're talking enhanced defense cooperation, with the UK gaining crucial access to the EU's hefty €125 billion defense fund. A move designed to bolster joint security. On the trade front, promises of smoother journeys for agricultural goods, a lightening of the load from cumbersome checks on animal and plant products, and a harmonized approach to climate policy, including a carbon border adjustment mechanism. A shield, so they say, against EU carbon taxes that could save the UK economy some £800 million a year. And the projections? They're pretty optimistic. A potential 16% surge in agricultural exports to the EU. Protection for British steel, valued at around £25 million annually. Easier travel, with Brits regaining access to EU airport e-gates. Even the prospect of shellfish exports, a sector hit hard post-Brexit, flowing once more. Prime Minister Starmer painted quite a picture of economic revival. A £9 billion boost by 2040, he predicted. And crucially, lower food prices in your shopping basket. Doors, he suggested, were opening to major EU defense projects, and perhaps even a return to the Erasmus Plus student exchange program. But as the ink dried, the dissenting voices just grew louder. From the Conservative benches and from Nigel Farage's Reform UK came accusations of a sellout. Saying these terms, they chip away at British sovereignty, betraying the very mandate of Brexit. And nowhere was the criticism sharper than over fishing rights. EU vessels granted permission to fish UK waters for another 12 years. The Scottish Fishermen's Federation didn't mince words, calling it a horror show. So, a deal done then. But is it a new dawn, or just a fraught compromise, with battles still yet to come? Now, while Westminster was looking towards Europe, the ground was shifting restlessly right here at home. Earlier in the month, on May 1st, a political tremor shook the landscape. Runcorn and Helsby, a name now etched into by-election history, isn't it? Reform UK's Sarah Pochin overturned a Labour majority that once stood at nearly 15,000 to win by a mere 6 votes. Can you believe it? The closest such result ever recorded in Britain. A stark warning, perhaps, of pretty volatile allegiances. In response, or perhaps as part of a wider strategy, the government laid out its cards. A new white paper, restoring control over the immigration system. The proposals are significant. Skilled worker visas now demanding degree-level qualifications. The immigration salary list? Gone. And for international students, the post-study visa slashed from 2 years down to 18 months. The stated aim, to cut net migration, to prioritize the domestic workforce. And then, energy. The Great British Energy Act 2025 is now law, establishing a publicly owned company. An initial £200 million earmarked for rooftop solar and renewable schemes, a drive for clean, homegrown power. Big moves, old declarations. But in a fractured political climate, will these policies actually unite or just further divide? And in the digital age, new battlegrounds just keep emerging, don't they? A government bill, the Data Use and Access Bill, proposes allowing AI companies to train their models on copyrighted material, unless creators specifically opt out. It's innovation versus creators' rights, isn't it? And it's not just anonymous artists concerned. You've got Sir Elton John, Sir Paul McCartney, voices warning of a future where creativity is devalued. This debate unfolds against a darker backdrop. Jonathan Hall, KC, the UK's independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, speaks of a need for potential anti-subversion laws, new tools, he suggests, to shield British democracy from hostile foreign interference. And the threat feels far from abstract. Relations with Iran have plummeted. 3 Iranian nationals charged with espionage, alleged plots to commit violence against journalists on British soil. Tehran retaliates, summoning the UK's senior diplomat, condemning arrests as politically motivated. National security, the government assures us, is paramount. But as tensions ratchet, the path to de-escalation just seems really fogged. Closer to home, the Metropolitan Police are investigating a series of arson attacks on properties linked to Prime Minister Keir Starmer. A third suspect, a 34-year-old man, arrested in Chelsea. The motives, the connections, still shrouded in mystery. The nation's security posture, by the way, that's also under review. The Ministry of Defense is evaluating the American-made MQ-9 Reaper drone, not for strike missions, but for airborne early warning, potentially operating from the decks of our Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers. A question raised in Parliament by Conservative MP Ben Obese-Jekti is now confirmed by Defense Secretary Maria Eagle as under active consideration. On the economic front, a flicker of optimism. The FTSE 100 on May 19th reached its highest point in 7 weeks, nudging up to 7,800, buoyed perhaps by that EU deal. Yet there's a global chill, isn't there, as Moody's downgraded the US sovereign credit rating. Domestically, the Bank of England is re-examining its ring-fencing rules, those walls separating retail banking from riskier investment arms, seeking greater efficiency, more competitiveness. Small and medium-sized businesses, the lifeblood of the economy, are hungry for finance. Bibby Financial Services has secured a £700 million facility to boost its lending power. And for those navigating the world of cryptocurrency, change is coming. From January 1st, 2026, HMRC will require detailed personal information from users, full names, addresses, tax IDs. Trading platforms will be mandated to report transaction data. The goal: better tax compliance, an end to digital shadows. And it's a similar story for the buy now, pay later market. Providers like Klarna and ClearPay are now coming under Financial Conduct Authority's supervision. Affordability checks, faster refunds, access to the financial ombudsman, reforms largely welcomed by the industry itself. And looking further ahead, a decade-long funding strategy for research and development, promising stability for innovation, a move applauded by sectors like the pharmaceutical industry. Building Britain's future, then, brick by digital brick. Deloitte UK announces 4 new technology centers across the nation, initially with 750 existing staff, focusing on business software solutions with an eye on expansion. Fintech giant Revolut, valued at an estimated $45 billion, is making a major play in Europe, investing €1.1 billion to grow its French operations. They're securing a French banking license and establishing their European HQ in Paris with over 200 new staff, though its global heart will remain in London. Meanwhile, the Crown Estate, in partnership with Australian developer Lendlease, embarks on a colossal £24 billion development program. The vision? 26,000 new homes, nearly 10 million square feet of commercial and laboratory space, fueling scientific research and innovation. And the roads of the future? Uber says it's ready to launch autonomous taxis in the UK, but government regulation is on hold until late 2027. It's a sector tipped to be worth a staggering £42 billion by 2035. The government itself is embracing AI, introducing a tool named Consult to rapidly analyze public consultation responses. It's projected to save £20 million a year. Imagine that. And at Microsoft's Build 2025 conference, kicking off on May 19th, AI is center stage. Enhancements to its Copilot assistant, more intuitive search within Windows 11, new Copilot agents. The digital landscape is evolving at breakneck speed. Even our weather forecasts are being sharpened by AI, with the Met Office and Google DeepMind developing more precise prediction models. Though a note of caution, progress could be hampered by reductions in global data sharing. And in a nod to ethical tech, at the 2025 British Data Awards in London, US-based education technology company Pixevity was recognized for its commitment to securing student data. But progress in one area can be starkly contrasted by challenges in another. In health, a devastating statistic: over 400 patients dying each year while waiting for treatment for aortic stenosis, a serious heart valve condition. Delays in accessing a key procedure, transcatheter aortic valve implantation, are a critical factor. Yet, technology offers glimmers of hope elsewhere. The NHS is increasingly embracing robotic-assisted surgery. 70,000 such procedures in 2024 alone, transforming major operations into quicker, safer day cases. However, difficult decisions and their consequences continue to make headlines. The government's reduction of the foreign aid budget from 0.5% to 0.3% of gross national income has drawn fire from over 130 leading scientists. They warn it could cripple global efforts to combat diseases. And a plan to encourage retailers to promote discounts on nutritious foods? Abandoned, reportedly after lobbying from ultra-processed food manufacturers. Critics argue corporate interests are being placed above public health. There are deeper, systemic issues too. Health experts voice concern over the significant underrepresentation of women in UK clinical trials. Male-only studies outnumber female-only studies by a staggering 67%, leaving vast gaps in our understanding of how treatments affect women. And weaving through all of this, the growing shadow of climate change, increasingly impacting health in the UK. Rising temperatures, fueling heat waves, floods, and the emergence of new infectious diseases. The UK Climate Change Committee issues a stark warning. The country, they say, remains inadequately prepared. Amidst the policy debates and global crises, personal stories continue to resonate. King Charles III, on a visit to Bradford, shared a hopeful message about his ongoing cancer treatment, indicating he feels he's past the toughest stage. On our screens, influencer Molly May Hague offers a candid look at her life as a single mother and entrepreneur in the Amazon Prime Video series, Behind It All. But not all celebrity news is positive. American singer Chris Brown was arrested in Manchester on May 15th in connection with an alleged assault at a London nightclub back in February 2023. He's been remanded in custody, awaiting a hearing in June. Meanwhile, the BBC has unveiled the cast for its upcoming series of Celebrity Traitors. Hosted by Claudia Winkleman and set for autumn 2025, 18 famous faces will scheme and strategize for charity. And for music fans, Ollie Murs has released a new track, Save Me, as part of his 15 Years of Hits UK tour. And finally then, to the arenas where passion, skill, and drama truly collide. A day of history at Wembley on May 17th. Crystal Palace, against the odds, lifted their first ever FA Cup, defeating Manchester City 1-0. Eberechi Eze, the hero with the decisive goal. More Premier League drama on May 19th, as Brighton and Hove Albion stunned champions Liverpool 3-2 at the Amex, Jack Hinchelwood sealing a famous victory. In the county championship, Surrey demonstrated their dominance, overwhelming Yorkshire by an innings and 28 runs at the Oval. British tennis star Emma Raducanu showed flashes of her best, defeating 6th seed Daria Kasatkina 6-1, 6-3 in the first round of the Internationale de Strasbourg. Across the pond, American golfer Scottie Scheffler continued his remarkable run, capturing his third major at the 2025 PGA Championship. And on the Formula One circuit, Max Verstappen triumphed at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola, leading a Red Bull Racing 1-2, as you'd expect. A significant appointment in cricket. Former England captain Charlotte Edwards takes the helm as the new head coach of the England women's team. Her first match, slated for May 21st. And in the evolving sports media landscape, Warner Bros. Discovery is reportedly in advanced talks to buy BT Group's 50% stake in TNT Sports UK. It's a move to fully own the venture ahead of the planned 2026 launch of the Max streaming service in the UK. Deals struck, allegiances tested, innovations unveiled, and lives, of course, touched by triumph and tribulation. As May 2025 unfolds, the currents of change continue to reshape Britain. The only certainty, I suppose, more challenges, and more stories definitely lie ahead.